Fair and mighty people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. I am Gordon Johansson, and I have been watching Class. I have watched the first episode of Class. Class being the Doctor Who spin-off that aired sometime last year. And I didn't bother watching it because, well, basically Doctor Who was being shit, and the spin-off sounded shit, and then I heard a review that basically said it was shit. So I kind of felt like, I'm gonna leave this. But then I happened to see a friend sort of talking about it on Facebook, and I noticed that the iPlayer has still got the full first series of Class up, so I gave the first episode a look, and it's a very simple idea. It's an idea that has been done before. You know, bunch of kids at university or whatever having to watch over a rift in time, a hellmouth, a doodad of the what's it from the where the bad things come. Right? It's a fairly standard fare with that regard. So what kind of matters is the individual elements of the storytelling. I love the characters. I mean, I am a bit critical that essentially the lead hero is a white guy. Literally, they introduce you to Mr. Posh White Boy, and he's the sort of the fish out of water person who is like introducing you to the setup, and yep, he's a prince. He's what the whole story's revolving around, and he's kind of a dick. Right? So it's kind of like, okay, this isn't great writing in terms of progressiveness because, you know, yeah, he's gay, but also he's still a fucking white boy saving the day, and oh, you got around that because he's technically an alien and the last of his kind. But like but like the way that that's done, it's almost like that's the sort of the young male fantasy, isn't it? Ah, yes, well, really, I'm the prince from a great dead species. I'm super brilliant and stuff, and I've got this epic destiny ahead of me. So, yeah, kind of critical in that regard, but also at the same time, he is a great actor, really charismatic and reasonably well written. I mean, I'm going to be critical of a lot of elements here, but I feel like the elements I'm being critical of are clearly dictated from above, right? Okay. There are also like elements of this that almost like clang with how they're like trying to sound, like how they're trying to be sort of down with the kids. You know, like, one of the first sort of lines of the episode is two women it's two women talking to each other. One of them starts talking about a boy that she likes, and the other says, and just like that, we failed the Bechdel test. And it's like, okay, you've made a reference to the Bechdel test within the very opening of the episode, and there are other moments like that where it's kind of like, we're being progressive. Ooh. It's almost sort of like how, you know, Torchwood was kind of like, oh look, everybody's having sex with each other, we're really adult. Sort of Class is the sort of millennial Tumblr SJW equivalent of, look at us, we're really aware and progressive. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's preferable to, you know, Torchwood's look at us, we're being grown up because everybody's having sex. And like, showboating that you're being progressive isn't really a problem when you're actually being progressive, which by and large this is. Indeed, I think this is probably more progressive than I am in certain regards, because I am critical of this episode, because like because essentially what you've got is you've got a fairly generic concept of, oh look, you know, kids in a school place, and oh, aliens, monsters trying to kill them, and oh, they've got to band together to fight back, and it's like, okay, that's enough, right? You fucking introduce your characters, you flesh them out, and then they have to add in the whole, but there's a whole alien race that's been exterminated, and they had this great civil war, and allegories about slavery, and, you know, like, is genocide for genocide. And it's like you take a hard job and you just make it harder. You make it harder. Because to a certain extent, right, I'm fairly certain that this writer was told, look, you have to get this done, right? So it's gonna be a clanger, because it's the first episode and you've got 45 minutes, and it's like, all right, you've got to do this. You've got to set up the central concept. You've got to explain this whole war that happened. You've got to set up the MacGuffins of the plot. You've got to get this key thing that happens, and I'll explain the key thing in a moment. And then, oh yeah, the Doctor's got to turn up and save the day, and you've got to somehow justify why the fuck he's leaving them there. And that, really, that's the thing that I came away with. This is just like, okay, this is the Doctor. This is the man who has worked for UNIT. This is the man who has been made emergency president of Earth. He has seen UNIT commit, you know, drone bombing campaigns against the Sontarans in order to defend the Earth. And yet, who the fuck does he entrust the rift to? A bunch of kids, right? Because the thing is, what, like, and I suppose this ties back to sort of the whole, okay, you've got this alien prince dude, right? And you've got the backstory of what you should have done is held the Doctor back, held the revelation of this guy's backstory back, by a few episodes, right? In fact, you hold the Doctor turning up to the very end of the series, right? Because until the Doctor turns up, it's really tense. Because these are kids. They don't know what's going on, right? This is what it should be. It should be that you've got the white guy, but he's keeping secrets. He knows what's going on, but he isn't saying anything. And the teacher's being creepy, and like kids are getting killed, but they're not. She's not saying anything, and like you have them playing their roles, knowing what's going on, but not saying anything. Just sort of just being there in the background, just trying to keep things going along, and like the kids themselves realize there is a rift. The kids themselves come up with the solution, beat back the monsters of this story. But what you do by getting rid of the Doctor, by getting rid of the explanation and the reveal, is you allow more time to flesh out the characters. You allow more time to show why we should give a shit, why these people are worthy, why they would want to stay and keep fighting, why they wouldn't just fucking leave, right? I don't care if the Doctor's just turned up, right? If your girlfriend has died in front of you, if you've seen shadow monsters emerge, you fucking run, you move, right? And even if it's some sort of, incredibly bleak sort of thing of, well, we don't have the money to move, so we might as well, if we're gonna be fucked, we might as well be fucked together. But, like, what you should have done is hold the Doctor back to the very end of the series. So that by the time the Doctor rocks up to save the day and say, okay, and now we're going to have UNIT fly in, they say, actually, no, we've been doing this, and we're good at this, and actually we don't trust the government to do this, because have you seen the way they've been running this country? and like, so that way they're battle hardened. They've seen what's out there. They know what's going on, and like by that point they're qualified to make the decision. And by that point the Doctor can actually leave them there to protect it, and it doesn't seem like a completely moronic move, which it does in the first episode, because basically all that happens is in the first episode the Doctor turns up, looks at everyone and goes, ah yeah, well, time has seen your faces, so you're basically fucked anyway, may as well stay here and do something while you're fucked. It's sort of like if Gandalf not Gandalf, if Dumbledore had basically just turned to Harry in the first book and said, look, Voldemort's soul is inside you, so yeah, you are the one who's going to have to keep defeating him time and time again, because he's going to try and kill you anyway, so you might as well stay where, you're going to be more or less okay. It's although in fact actually that would have made more sense in Harry Potter, because Hogwarts is a fucking fortress. Coal Hill School is just a fucking school. And yeah, you hold the reveal of the alien backstory back to when you can do a whole episode on it. Because that needs to be a whole episode. That needs to be a two-parter, right? That needs to be... I mean, The West Wing has done this, you know, sort of, you know, certain characters are like, you know, knocked unconscious or sent to the hospital or whatever, and you have the flashback because they're remembering this shit because they're in the middle of dire straits, sort of thing. Heck, Firefly did it. And yeah, alright, you don't necessarily want to retread over old ground, but then why the fuck are you doing a Doctor Who spin-off set in a school? And yeah, speaking of retreads, what we have here is the Vashta Narada mixed with the Weeping Angels, mixed with the Pyroviles from the Fires of Pompeii, and also mixed with sort of the central conceit of Dragonheart, or indeed certain elements of Harry Potter, right? Like, in the sense that you... Oh, and Narnia, of course, yeah, because you've got the whole young princes who are in charge of a kingdom, but I mean, the villains are, yeah, that they're shadows who only strike when they're who only strike when nobody's watching, and when they strike, they're like stone, so they can't be attacked, and they look like pyroviles, and then you get the sort of the central plot point that I was alluding to earlier, that there is this girl who is sort of the not love interest of Mr. White Dude throughout the episode, and she essentially has her heart bonded with that of the lead pyrovile shadowy dude, and like, this is the part where I kind of need to, you know, this is the part where the film, where the episode is more progressive than I am, because that actress who plays that character, quickly checks Google, yeah, Sophie Hopkins as April McLean. She's cute. She is really cute, so yeah, I gave a shit when she was in danger, but it really is just kind of like, okay, how do we have a villain who keeps coming back and coming back, that the protagonists can talk to, when the guy is the leader of a fucking genocidal race? Or maybe not necessarily the leader, but it, I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be well explored later, but in the first episode, it's just far too much. The backstory of the alien races of the thing of the var, and the inequality of the thing and the war, And the shadows they are attacking, and the characters, we must care about them. And then the doctor turns up and is a fucking moron. Like, seriously, just call UKIP. Unit! Although, by all means, send Nigel Farage through the rift. Actually, I quite like that idea. Yeah, put UKIP in charge of defending our borders from this rift of extraterrestrial aliens who are illegal immigrants into Britain, trying to break through and committing genocide. Actually, maybe that could quite work. Oh God. Sorry, I've distracted myself by just sort of imagining like UKIP Stargate or whatever. UKIP defending the Earth from extraterrestrial invaders coming through alien rifts. There's Nigel Farage in his sort of hunting gear with his flat cap and his tweed and his sort of hunting rifle, just going, bosh that, you fosh. Sorry. Oh God. Oh God. But seriously, why didn't the doctor just call unit? Right? Just say, oi, there's a fucking rift here. Maybe you want to have a look at it. Maybe you want to, cordon it off or something. I mean, there really is no explanation. Did the doctor was he just really busy that day? Were the Daleks on the move and he was just like, I've got to get moving. Look, you'll be fine. I've got to get cracking. It's a great big Dalek ship I've got to destroy. See ya. But no, there is no explanation as to why the doctor is just like, yeah, alien rift. Entities who exterminate entire planets overnight. I can just leave this under the hands of a few kids. This'll be fine. Fucking hell. Like, seriously, it's ridiculous. And yes, I know Doctor Who is a show about an alien with two hearts who travels through time and space in a fucking phone box. But, like, these are all things that can be backed up by science. The Doctor here is just a fucking moron because he's like, you know what, all this stuff here, all the continuity, fuck that. We've got a show to set up. If he wasn't there, right, if the Doctor wasn't in class, it'd be okay. Because, yeah, if aliens are fucking invading your school and killing off people, what the fuck are you gonna do if you're a fucking kid? Especially if you're a minority, because the only white boy there is a fucking alien. I mean, the only white boy in the sort of the circle is a fucking alien. So, and yeah, the only sort of the two sort of white females. One of them is another alien, and the other then has her heart bonded with an alien. So yeah, maybe they'd have like legitimate reason to say maybe we don't go fucking running to the police like, hey, there's monsters trying to destroy the Earth. Like, it would make sense why they would not want to tell people. But the Doctor is a responsible adult. Well, he's an adult. Well, he's led a war. Or several billion. So, he should know better. But characters are cute, and it tries to be funny. Sometimes succeeds, sometimes fails. Although I now really, really want to see UKIP guarding the Earth from alien invaders coming through a rift in space-time. That's now what I want to see. And maybe there's an American spin-off where it's Donald Trump trying desperately to build a wall against a rift that's coming through. That's reminded me of the that line of that scene from Pacific Rim. Like early on, that they're like, "Hey, we're gonna build a wall to protect us from the kaiju," and then the kaiju just sort of waltz through the wall, killing a fuck ton of people, and it's like, shit, bugger. Oh god. Anyway, I wasn't gonna talk about politics. I think the main thing that I've come away with from class is that the person who plays April is fucking cute. And so does the guy who plays lead white dude. Greg Austin as Charlie Smith. You could not get more fucking English, could you? Anyway, goodbye. Thank you to all my Patreons at patreon.com for helping to make videos like this possible. If you wish to leave a like or dislike to rate the video for my analytics, that would be much appreciated. Comments are always welcome, though be aware that they will be moderated before being published, so please be civil. If you liked this video, please consider adding it to your favourites, sharing it to your friends, or subscribing. If you wish to help me out, or my channels, please consider whitelisting my videos in your adblock software, subscribing for monthly donations through Patreon, or giving a small one-off donation. Alternatively, I have a Steam wishlist for games I would consider let's playing or streaming, so if you would like to see me broken before the Dark Souls altar, or just happen to have gotten a duplicate of a game in a humble bundle, then you know what to do. I also have an official Facebook fan page, Twitter account, Tumblr, Reddit and blog, so you can stay up to date with all of my videos, blog articles and the things I care about. Links are in the video description. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I think that all that now needs to be said is ban all guns, institute universal basic income now, and ensure government is elected by proportional representation. Oh, and also, fuck the racists and fuck the alt-right.